Hey, good morning, YouTube. It is me again, your favorite Texas trucker. And I'm up here in Illinois right now. I'm working my way up to Wisconsin. And, a couple things been on my mind for a few days, so I'll probably do a couple of different videos about it. But the first one, those of you that are friends with me on Facebook, and that pay attention to the things that I post or follow me on Facebook, you'll remember, or maybe you'll remember, that I posted about the people out here on the road, and so I just wanted to kind of do a video about it. I was sitting there thinking the other day that there was a couple of people that I've met out here, and students aside, I've met some great folks, as just the students that are here at Millis, or that are coming to work at Millis, or people that have watched my videos and I'm hooked up with. I haven't done those meetup videos like some of these guys do, where, hey, I'm on the road and I met this guy, I haven't done all that. But, I have met some really, really great guys out here on the road. Joseph Olson, great dude out of Texas, and I've been visiting with him off and on, and he's helped me out a bit. He loaned me a hard drive for my new laptop, and he loaded it full of movies for me so that I'd have something to do out here on the road. I'm going to buy me a hard drive. I think I've got one at the house that's going to be compatible with the laptop, and I may just be able to use that one. But if not, I'm going to buy a hard drive and I'm going to give him his back. But just the fact that, he'd go out of his way like that, and loan me that, so that while I'm out here, I can watch movies. And that's what I've been doing almost every night instead of laying here being bored. I've got a nook where I can read books, and occasionally I get in that book reading mode, and I'll read books for 3 or 4 days, and then I'm going to touch them for another month, and so, that's been great, and I've really enjoyed it, and then up north, in New York, I met Darren Martin, and he came up there to the Weedsport terminal to visit with me, and talk to me and my son, and we visited for quite some time. And he's another great dude, and he took me, he left, and we were doing our thing, and he sent me a message and asked if I needed to run to Walmart, to get anything, and I did. We were understocked in the truck, and I needed to get there, and getting to a Walmart when you're out on the roads can be difficult. So he came back and he picked us up and he took us to Walmart, and then he got some stuff for us that he wanted us to try, and ended up giving us quite a bit of stuff. He didn't have to do that. Great dude, really good guy. And then he took us around some of the small burbs in New York and showed us some of the most beautiful places, crystal clear lakes, and it was just awesome, and I really enjoyed that time, that downtime to spend with somebody like that, and here at the truck stops, occasionally I meet up with people and I just chat with them for a little bit. I might talk to them about their company or how their company runs, or the things that they like or don't like about their companies, or they may ask me about mine, and so I tell them about my company. Or a couple of these guys, we've sat down and had coffee a few times, and just shot the shit, and talked about just about anything. I've met a couple of older dudes, that have been driving back since freight carriers used horse and wagons. These guys were so old they were nearly fossilized, and still out here, punching these gears. And I listened to some of their stories and some of the things they talked about, from back in the old days, back when trucking was a lot different, and you didn't have GPSs, you didn't have all these wide highways, and trucks and trailers were smaller than they are today, and some of them taught me a few tricks here and there, some great dudes out here on the road. You always hear me talk about on these videos how much I love being out here and seeing the different places, you know, and even like, you know, I'm going through, you know, the outskirts of Chicago right now, and we got, according to my GPS, we have an accident up here ahead of us. You know, and so it's slowing us down a little bit, you know, and stuff like this can get a little frustrating, but, you know, you get to go through Chicago, and for those of you that are up here in the north, and, you know, you may live in Chicago or, you know, go through here a lot, this may not be any big deal to you, but I'm from Texas. And I'm from Texas, you know, and even in, you know, Fort Worth and Dallas and all that stuff, you don't have the atmosphere that you have up here in Chicago. You know, Texas was a ranch country. You know, it was a whole different type of deal, different types of buildings. You know, these brownstones up here. You know, and all that stuff. You know, the way things are built. You know, and just the architecture driving through here. The fact that you have a transit rail system that runs, you know, through the middle of your freeway. You know, I mean, it's amazing to me. And so I get to see stuff like that, you know. I get out there in the outskirts of Wisconsin, you know, and I get to see all that farmland, you know, and in Iowa and, you know, and Kansas, you know, and then I see the mountains, and, you know, and y'all will always hear me talk about all that kind of stuff and how you know, I love being out here on the road. But that's just part of it, you know. I like everything for the most part about being out here, except being away from my family. Being away from my family is the only thing I don't like about being out here. You know, that's just, you know, that's part of it. You know, I like the challenge of getting the load where it needs to be. I like, you know, having to calculate and figure out my time, you know, and you know, how I'm going to be able to get from point A to point B. You know, I like being able to, you know, get to a place early. You know, I feel like I accomplished something, you know, especially when the time schedule's tight. You know, I don't mind sleeping and cooking in the truck, you know, and I don't mind showering at truck stops, but, you know, the things that I really like about out here, some of them you take for granted. And, you know, I was thinking about the people, and, you know, I mean, I've met some assholes out here too. You know, some of those are on Facebook. You know, you got the drama capital of the world, and I feed into that sometimes, you know. But you know, you meet some assholes out here. You know, people that you wouldn't piss on if they were on fire. You know, and you know, you're going to run into that anywhere you go. But for the most part, you know, all the truckers that I've run into, you know, have been good people. You know, the ones that I've spent time talking to, they've been good people. You know, they're people just like you and me. You know, they go out and they work. You know, they're doing the best they can to send money home. You know, make it in this life, and they're good people. And you know, I enjoy spending time with them. I said on Facebook that, you know, these people out here, you know, the good, the bad, you know, the decent ones, you know, the ones that you run into that have those stories to tell, the ones that, you know, that'll share that education with you, the ones that'll just sit down and share a cup of coffee with you and just shoot the shit about their company, or, you know, and all that. Those people are as much a part of the job out here as the terrain, the cities that you run through, you know, and all of the clerical part of being a truck driver, you know. And in some cases, those people are even more important to the job that you're doing, because in this day and age where we are today, with all the technology that we have, you know, I mean, I got the Qualcomm here in the truck. I'm on e-logs. You know, I've got the CB, which, you know, is an age-old, you know, tool for truckers. I've got a laptop computer in the back. You know, I got my cell phone. I can access the internet on my cell phone. You got text, you got instant messaging, you've got Facebook, you got Google Plus, you've got, you know, all these social sites that you can go onto. And even in our normal day-to-day life, you know, we're becoming more and more detached from personal relationships. You know, our internet relationships are becoming the norm. You know, whereas when I was growing up and I was young, you know, we didn't have computers and we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have social media sites. You went to a bar and you hung out with all your friends. All your friends gathered together and went to a bar. We used to go to the Iron Kettle. Back when I was in the Army, and I was in the local CB community, because we didn't have cell phones back then, so we used CBs to communicate with everybody. We would all gather together at the Iron Kettle, and we would just shoot the shit for hours on end. I used to really look forward to going there and getting biscuits and gravy, and coffee, and just sitting there and shooting the shit with all my friends. And I thought about it, and now the only time that I ever do anything like that is out here on the road. I'm out here on the road, and I stop at a truck stop, and maybe there's a couple of millis drivers that are there, and we go in and we shoot the shit. Or I'll go into a Country Pride at the TA and sit down, and there's a couple drivers right there, and we strike up a conversation, and that's the only type of personal I don't even know what to call it, personal interaction that you have with each other these days. And even when I get home, when I go home, there's not time for me to be visiting with people. This last time I was home, I had a good friend of mine who had a birthday celebration, and we went out and we sat with them, and his friends, and we ate dinner or lunch or whatever you call it, and we got to talk and we got to chat, and we had a good time. But we don't do stuff like that anymore. Our society has changed, and honestly, I don't think it's really for the good. And I'm as involved in it as anybody else. It's social media. I'm a Facebook hound. I talk to everybody on Facebook. It's texting and messaging. I do a lot of texting and messaging. But when it comes down to personal interaction, that element of our life is gone. And so when I run into stuff like that out here on the road, I'm one of the few that actually treasures that stuff. I really enjoy the interactions that I have with the people that I meet out here, whether they're other millis drivers or whether they drive for any other company. I don't care who it is, Swift, CR England, Warner, or JB Hunt, or any of the hundreds and hundreds of companies and independent owner-operators, that I might run into. I thoroughly enjoy the time that I have to talk and share with them or learn from them, because a lot of them have got quite a bit to teach, and I just wanted to say that the people out here are just as important to the job as the other elements of the job are. The elements that we take for granted. I enjoy my job. I like the people that I run into. I like the people that I work with. The ones that I don't like, I just ignore them for the most part, unless they catch me in a time when I'm bored, and then I'll go out of my way to be an asshole. That ain't right. There's just some people, man, that's the only thing that they understand. So I'm not the perfect person. I don't ever claim to be. I just I was thinking the other day, you get out here on the road, and it can be a lonely life. You're out here alone all the time, and if you're not okay with being alone all the time, then this life can really grate on you. If you can deal with being alone all the time, then this is a pretty good life. Anyway, it's just something I wanted to share with you. Something that was on my mind. By no means am I ever claiming to be, the best person around. I've got my faults. Everybody does. Mine they're mine. They're just part of who I am. I wish this thing would go into gear when I'm coming to a stop. I got something going on with my clutch brake, and I can't look it. When I'm rolling at 4 or 5 miles an hour, this thing just will not go into gear. But anyway, I just wanted to share all that with you. You know, that's it for today. We'll catch y'all next time. I got another topic that I want to discuss, and I'm going to put it out there and see what people think about it. So we'll catch you later. All right, peace out.